Imagine posting a perfect qualifying record, right? Scoring 37 goals, boasting the single most lethal striker on the planet, and knowing, before you even board the plane, that you are statistically favored to be eliminated in the group stage.
Oh, it's brutal.
It's the nightmare of Group I. We are looking at a bracket so utterly unforgiving that one genuinely brilliant title-contending squad is like 100% guaranteed to go home in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. It's a bloodbath.
Right. So, welcome to our deep dive into the 2026 World Cup's most anticipated bracket. I am currently assuming the highly technical, strictly horizontal posture required for elite football analysis.
Naturally. The only way to do it.
Yeah, we are fully channeling our inner Armchair Galáctico today. We've got the preview notes, the projections, and the absolute unshakable confidence that we know how to manage a squad better than guys with 3 decades of professional coaching experience.
Well, the true armchair pundit operates without the burden of an actual coaching license, right?
Exactly. We don't need licenses. We just need the tactical blueprints.
And looking at these Armchair Galáctico preview notes for France, Norway, Senegal, and Iraq, the blueprints suggest this isn't just the group of death. It is the group of the tournament.
100%. And our mission today is to arm you, the listener, with the exact tactical breakdowns, the structural fatal flaws, and the outrageous hot takes you need to sound like the smartest person in the room before the tournament kicks off.
Set the stage for us. Where do we start?
So to understand the immense gravity of this group, we have to start with a collision that dictates literally everything else. Match day 1, June 16th, MetLife Stadium. France versus Norway.
The heavyweight fight.
Yeah, because whoever survives this brawl basically dictates the geometry of the rest of the group. Let's look at France first. Didier Deschamps is bringing the reigning runners up, and the sheer volume of talent here, I mean, it borders on the absurd.
Well, calling it a juggernaut almost feels like a disservice to it.
It really does.
You look at their attacking options alone. Ousmane Dembélé is arriving in career-best form. You have Michael Olise acting as this relentless, dazzling outlet on the right wing.
Unstoppable.
And their squad is so heavily saturated with elite talent that players who would instantly be the first name on the team sheet for, 25 other nations in this tournament. Guys like Eduardo Camavinga missed the final cut entirely.
Which is insane to think about.
Right. But their tactical reality right now hinges on a massive looming variable, Kylian Mbappe's thigh muscle.
Ah, yes. The 27-year-old captain carrying an injury from Real Madrid's club run. And I mean, he already has 12 World Cup goals to his name. But let me throw an analogy at you based on these notes.
Let's hear it.
Looking at France right now, it feels like a $100 million blockbuster movie set. You have incredible supporting actors, flawless special effects, but your lead superstar is sitting in his trailer nursing a pulled muscle.
Yeah, the production halts.
Exactly.
Yep.
Suddenly, the entire production is paralyzed by off-camera drama rather than focusing on the script. So, my fatal flaw for France has to be the media circus.
Yeah.
They're going to overthink it and just get completely distracted.
See, I'd actually push back on that.
Really? You don't think the Mbappe circus is a factor?
I mean, the whole media distraction narrative is a bit of a cliche, you know? Their actual fatal flaw is structural, and it stems directly from that injury on the pitch.
Okay, break that down for me.
Well, Mbappe's entire game is built on explosive world-class pace, right? If you are fielding a half-fit Mbappe against a dangerous team like Norway, it triggers a tactical chain reaction.
Because he's not tracking back.
Precisely. He can't reliably make those high-speed recovery sprints to help defend, so Deschamps is forced to drop his entire defensive line 10 yards deeper just to compensate and protect the left flank.
Oh, which isolates Theo Hernandez at left back.
That's exactly the issue. Dropping that line 10 yards deeper completely changes the shape of the pitch. It invites pressure into the midfield. It means a guy like Aurélien Tchouameni has way more ground to cover.
So this terrifying French press suddenly looks, hesitant?
Yeah, exactly. And that is where a team can hurt them. If France beats themselves in Group I, it won't be because they were distracted by a press conference. It will be because they compromised their entire pressing structure to accommodate a captain who can't hit top speed.
Wow. And that opens a massive door for Norway, right? Because they are a team built to exploit exactly that kind of hesitation.
Oh, 100%.
The Armchair notes highlight their 8-0 perfect qualifying record. 0 draws, 0 losses, 37 goals.
Unbelievable stats.
And at the center of all that violence is Erling Haaland. 16 goals in 8 matches. But the mechanism of how they score those goals is what's really fascinating here. Because this isn't just a Holland show anymore.
No, not at all. Ståle Solbakken has built a remarkably sophisticated system to feed him. It all revolves around Martin Ødegaard, the playmaker.
Right. He operates as the calm, dictating heartbeat in the midfield. But you have to consider how he actually finds that final pass.
Because Holland is basically a physical anomaly.
Exactly. Because Holland is so big and fast, he constantly pins two opposition center backs deep. That defensive gravity creates a tiny pocket of empty space, the half space, just in front of the penalty area.
And Ødegaard just drifts right into that pocket.
He does. Because the center backs are occupied by Holland, Ødegaard gets an extra 1.5 seconds on the ball.
Which doesn't sound like much.
But in modern international football, 1.5 seconds of unpressed time for a playmaker of his caliber is an absolute death sentence for the defense.
Yeah, they'll carve you up. And if a team gets smart, right, and decides to flood that half space to neutralize Ødegaard, Norway just triggers their secondary weapon.
Antonio Nusa.
Yes, out wide. The notes highlight his electric pace. If you pinch your defense inside to stop the Ødegaard to Haaland connection, Nusa is going to exploit that vacant real estate on the wing all afternoon. It's a brilliant multi-layered attack.
It is, but, and there's a big, but here, Norway has a glaring psychological hurdle that translates directly into a tactical vulnerability. I haven't been to a World Cup in 28 years.
Thanks, France, 98. I mean, it is an entire generation.
What does that 28-year absence actually look like on the pitch? The notes mention stage fright. But tactically, stage fright usually manifests as overcompensation.
What do you mean?
Well, they step out under the lights at MetLife Stadium, right? 80,000 people screaming, adrenaline completely spiking. My read is that Norway's fatal flaw is that they're going to come out completely frantic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they will overpress in the first 15 minutes, abandon their defensive shape, and just leave massive gaps in transition.
That is the exact danger. I mean, qualifying against mid-tier European teams on a Tuesday night in Oslo allows you to dictate the rhythm.
Completely different vibe.
Right. Opening a World Cup against the reigning runners-up is a totally different ecosystem. If Norway overcommits out of pure nervous energy, France's transitional speed, even without a fully fit Mbappe, will just dissect them before they even realize what happened.
They'll be over in a flash.
But consider the flip side. If Solbakken keeps them composed, their direct counterattacking style forces a very specific, uncomfortable game state for the rest of the group.
Which brings us to the collateral damage of this draw. Senegal.
The reigning AFCON pedigree side.
We have to talk about the sheer cruelty of the geography lottery here. Because in literally any other bracket, Senegal is a lock for the knockout stages.
Easily.
You have Sadio Mane's farewell tour at 34 years old, coming out of international retirement, winning the AFCON 2025 Player of the Tournament. You have Kalidou Koulibaly anchoring a battle-tested defense, and Nicholas Jackson providing lethal variation up front.
The squad is fantastic.
It is. The Armchair Galáctico preview paints them as the tragic hero of the group, suggesting their fatal flaw is simply the math of the draw. Like, they just don't have the margin for error against France and Norway.
Yeah, I see where the notes are coming from, but the math is an outcome, not a tactical flaw.
Okay, so what's the actual flaw then?
If we look closely at Pep structure, Senegal's real fatal flaw in this specific group is their transition defense against high-pressing European teams.
Because of their age?
Partly, yeah. They are heavily reliant on an aging Sadio Mane. While he is still a brilliant finisher, and obviously the emotional core of this team, at 34, he just no longer triggers the high press with the same relentless intensity he used to.
Right, which means the opposition defense can build out from the back without being panicked.
Exactly the problem. Senegal prefers a rhythmic, possession-based game. They want to control the tempo.
But Norway wants absolute chaos.
Norway wants the ball turned over in the middle third so they can release Haaland in, like, 3 passes. Because Mane and the forward line can't sustain a 90-minute high press, Senegal is frequently forced into a lower defensive block.
And asking an older Koulibaly to survive in a low block against the direct physical battery of Haaland and Nusa for 90 minutes.
It's a tactical mismatch.
See, I have to challenge that a bit, though. I am sitting here on my analytical couch looking at this roster, and I absolutely refuse to write their obituary before the tournament starts.
Fair enough. Make the case.
Look, Koulibaly, Mane, Jackson, these guys play, or have played, at the absolute highest tiers of club football. They are battle-tested in a way Norway simply is not. Norway hasn't seen a World Cup pitch in 3 decades.
True.
So shouldn't Senegal's pure tournament savvy be enough to rattle a team that is essentially learning how to play under the global spotlight on the fly?
Listen, tournament savvy is incredibly valuable, absolutely. But savvy doesn't close down passing lanes.
Ouch.
I mean, if Senegal gets caught too far up the pitch, all the veteran leadership in the world won't catch Antonio Nusa in a foot race.
Fair point.
Senegal's challenge is entirely about game management. They cannot afford to get dragged into a track meet. They have to slow the game down to a crawl, disrupt Odegaard's rhythm with physical fouls if necessary, and rely on Jackson to snatch a goal on a set piece.
Sounds exhausting.
It's not impossible, but the tactical friction between what Senegal wants to do and what Norway forces them to do makes them an agonizing watch. They could play beautiful football and still be dismantled by pure transitional speed.
It is the literal definition of a heartbreak watch. So while Senegal is cursing the footballing gods for dropping them into this tactical meat grinder, let's look at the one team in Group I that is absolutely thrilled just to be in the building.
Iraq. Yeah.
The Armchair Preview notes that it has been 40 years since their last appearance in Mexico, '86. They were the very last nation to qualify, edging Bolivia in the Intercontinental Playoff.
It really is an incredible story of resilience. Graham Arnold, their Australian coach, came in, completely stripped down their tactical identity, and rebuilt them into this remarkably stubborn unit.
They're tough to break down.
Very. They even pulled off a draw with Spain in their warm-up matches, which is a massive indicator of their structural discipline.
Okay, I have a hot take here, and it requires a metaphor.
Oh boy. I'm ready.
Iraq is the ultimate wedding crasher.
A wedding crasher.
Think about it. You sneak into this incredibly exclusive, high-stakes wedding at the very last second. You grab a drink, walk into the ballroom, and realize you are seated at the head table with three absolute VIPs, France, Norway, and Senegal.
Okay, I'm tracking.
You have zero pressure. Nobody expects you to give a speech. Nobody expects you to bring a gift. You are just there to eat the expensive food and maybe cause a little chaos on the dance floor.
It's a fun visual, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But let's translate that chaos into actual tactics. How exactly does a wedding crasher disrupt a team like France?
By embracing the fact that their fatal flaw, their utter lack of collective World Cup experience against European giants, is actually their greatest weapon.
Interesting.
They have absolutely nothing to lose. The hot take is this Iraqer is going to completely ruin the goal difference of at least one of these powerhouses.
Really?
Yes. France or Norway will walk onto the pitch expecting to win 4-0, expecting to pad their stats, and instead, they're going to run into a 90-minute tactical nightmare. It will end 1-0 in the 89th minute, and it will completely scramble the advancement math for the rest of the group.
That is a bold projection. But you know, the mechanics of Graham Arnold's system actually support it.
See? The couch knows.
Arnold doesn't build a traditional brick wall in defense. A brick wall can be smashed if you hit it hard enough. He builds a bamboo forest.
Wait, bamboo forest. Unpack that for me.
So when you play against Iraq, they don't aggressively tackle you at the halfway line. They retreat. They compress the space between their midfield and their defensive line to about 8 yards.
Okay, so it's super tight.
Extremely tight. It bends. It allows you to enter their half. But once you are in, you are completely tangled. There is zero space between the lines for a player like Christopher Nkunku or Martin Odegaard to turn.
Oh, I get it.
It forces the opposition to endlessly cycle the ball sideways. It is incredibly frustrating to play against.
Which breeds impatience.
Yeah.
And impatience breeds mistakes.
Exactly. A frustrated French midfield might start taking like low percentage shots from 30 yards out or force passes into tight windows that just get intercepted.
Right.
However, the true fatal flaw for Iraq in this structure is exhaustion. Defending in a compressed block requires absolute mental perfection.
Because if you blink, you're dead.
Yeah, if you lose focus for 1 second in the 85th minute, Dembele slips through. And because Iraq struggles to hold the ball for more than 3 passes in transition, their defense gets zero rest. They're facing 90 minutes of sustained bombardment.
But if they hold out, I mean, if that bamboo forest just keeps bending without snapping, they become the ultimate spoiler. The Armchair Galáctico notes make it clear. Iraq's presence here is about the journey. With veteran leadership from Captain Jalal Hassan, who, by the way, has 100 caps, and the European pedigree of Ali Al-Hamadi and Zidane Iqbal, they aren't just here for selfies.
No, they are here to make things incredibly difficult.
So when we synthesize all these tactical blueprints, the injuries, the stage fright, the low blocks, how does the couch project this group actually shaking out?
All right, let's lay it out.
if we follow the Armchair Galactic's rejections
Yeah.
and apply our own tactical reality checks, we have France topping the group with 7 points.
Makes sense.
Deschamps manages the Mbappe injury crisis by leaning heavily on Elise and Dembélé, dropping the defensive line and basically surviving on pure depth.
Yeah, and then Norway finishes second with 6 points. Solbakken manages the stage fright. Edegard finds those half spaces, and they ride the Haaland wave directly into the knockout stages.
Which leaves Senegal finishing third with 4 points. The tragic heroes.
It's harsh.
It is. They execute their game plan, they dominate possession, but they ultimately get punished in transition by younger, faster European squads. And Iraq finishes fourth with 0 points. But they leave with their heads held high after turning at least one of those matches into a grueling one-goal war of attrition.
It is a brutal calculus, but I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over before the tournament begins.
Give it to us.
We have spent this entire deep dive treating France as the inevitable juggernaut, right? The team everyone else is reacting to. But what happens to the psychology of the global football hierarchy if that matchday 1 script flips?
Oh, wow.
What if Norway steps out under those bright lights, completely ignores the stage fright, and shatters France's aura of invincibility on day 1?
If the juggernaut bleeds on day 1.
Exactly. If France looks vulnerable, how does that change the mentality of Brazil or Argentina or England watching from their hotels?
It changes everything.
A shock result in Group I doesn't just scramble the math of this specific bracket, it sends a psychological earthquake through the entire 48-team field. It proves the Giants can be slain early.
A day 1 earthquake. I love it. Well, we have broken down the tactical blueprints, we have challenged the fatal flaws, and we have armed you with the structural insights to dominate every single World Cup conversation. The couch has spoken.
The tactical board is officially wiped clean.
If you want to put these projections to the test and prove that your armchair analysis is sharper than ours, you need to lock in your own predictions. Head over to bracketmachine.app right now and use the code Z9U8XX.
Get those brackets in.
That is bracketmachine.app with the code Z9U8XX. Build your bracket, set your group stages, and see if you can outsmart the footballing gods.
Just keep in mind, you can map out the perfect tactical blueprint, but once the whistle blows, the tournament always finds a way to rewrite the script.
Which is exactly why we watch. Keep your armchair comfortable and your takes extremely hot. We'll see you for the next deep dive.